Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian and this is the weekly waiver wire video for week 18 of the fantasy hockey season. Before we get started guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow me on Twitter at FantasyTipped. I'm constantly posting stuff there to help you guys out and win each and every week. Now without further ado, let's jump right into it and let's look at the schedule for week 18. So looking at the schedule for week 18, it's actually a pretty good one. There aren't any days that have a ridiculous amount of games except for Saturday that has 10 games, which is 20 teams playing, which is a lot of teams. But other than that, it's 8 or less games per night, which means that you could probably fit players in your lineup every single night. Now, the off nights, in case that you need them, are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those are the nights with the least amount of games. Now, there are 2 teams that play on 3 of those off nights, and those teams are Colorado and Winnipeg. Those teams play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as Sunday. Now, there are a few teams that play 4 games this week, which is a pretty favorable schedule. Those teams are Columbus, New York, San Jose, Seattle, and Toronto, as well as Colorado and Winnipeg, which I already mentioned. So those teams are the teams that if you have players from those teams, you're probably going to have a pretty solid week just because you're getting more games. Now, there are some teams that don't have such a great week, and those teams are Chicago, Detroit, New Jersey, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Vegas, and Washington. Those teams all only play 2 games this week, so a little bit less of a favorable schedule. So if you do have any low-owned players from those teams, you definitely can consider dropping them. So now let's jump right into things, and let's start with some forwards that you can consider picking up ahead of this week. And the first forward on my list is Chandler Stephenson of the Vegas Golden Knights. And I know what you're thinking, guys. He was on my drop list just last week. Yeah, but things change very quickly in hockey. Chandler Stephenson was dropped down to the 2nd or 3rd line, whatever you want to call it. And it looked like he wasn't going to have that much fantasy value. That's why I told you to drop him in only the shallower leagues. I told you to hang on to him in deeper leagues. Now, what happened since then? Well, Chandler Stephenson's actually been elevated to the top line with Max Pacioretty and Jack Eichel. He's playing on the right wing where Mark Stone would be playing, but Mark Stone was just added to long-term injured reserve. So it's possible that he's out for a long time. And Chandler Stephenson, because of this, gains a lot of value playing with those 2 guys, and he should definitely start to produce once again. Chandler Stephenson makes for a pretty sneaky ad. One thing to note, though, is that Vegas doesn't play until Friday this week. They only played those 2 games, Friday and Saturday, so maybe if you can, try to wait to grab him. Otherwise, grab him now and stash him. He's probably going to be worth it for you. Then I have Alex Tuch and Tage Thompson of the Buffalo Sabres, and I know I've had them on this list for a few weeks now, but they have been incredibly good for Buffalo. They are playing top line, top power play, and they are producing basically every single night. They're absolute studs to have on your team right now, and they are absolute must adds. Then I have Oliver Bjorkstrand of the Columbus Blue Jackets, 44% rostered, and Columbus, like I said earlier, plays 4 games this week, which is a pretty solid thing. And in his last 4 games, Bjorkstrand has 3 goals, has 4 points in his last 5 games, and he's playing top line, top power play, and I think he's a really underrated player, and he's starting to turn things around right now. Makes for a really good ad. Then I have Matt Boldy of Minnesota Wild, 35% roster, and I've had him on this list for quite a few weeks now. Sorry for the repetition, guys, but I got to let you guys know that Matt Boldy is the real deal. He's performing really well for Minnesota, playing on a really good line with Fiala, playing top power play, and he's been producing. So he's definitely got to be added in more than 35% of leagues. Add him now before it is too late. Then I have Valeri Nichushkin of the Colorado Avalanche, 30% rostered, and I'm adding him this week for the nice schedule that Colorado has. They play 4 games, and 3 of those 4 games are on off nights. And Valeri Nichushkin plays on the 2nd line with Kadri and Burakovsky, which is not a bad place to be at all. Definitely a solid ad for the week. Then I have Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs, been playing really well lately, playing on line with Matthews and Marner, so it's not going to slow down anytime soon. Definitely a good ad. Then I have my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Jeff Skinner. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPS. Unlock your confidence, guys, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Manscaped's got some really solid products, guys, if I do say so myself. So use my code word FANTASYTIPS and get yourself something nice. Now, why is Jeff Skinner my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, it's pretty simple. He's been incredible. He's already up to 20 goals this season. He's up to 34 points, which is pretty freaking solid for Jeff Skinner. And he's really rebounded this year, so it's a really nice thing to see. He's getting a lot of ice time. He's getting a lot of power play time. And guys, if you need goals, Jeff Skinner is an amazing add, and he should be added to your team. And you should hold on to him for the rest of the season. Really good ad there. Then I have Travis Konechny of the Philadelphia Flyers, 25% rostered. And Travis Konechny has been really hot lately. He has a point in each of his last 5 games. So the dude's really, really on fire right now. And you should definitely add him for those games that Philadelphia has on Monday and Tuesday this week. After that, I probably would drop him, though, because Philadelphia doesn't play again until Saturday, but definitely a solid ad for those Monday and Tuesday games. Then I have Cole Caulfield of the Montreal Canadiens, and he's playing actually on the left wing with Suzuki and Josh Anderson on that top line in Montreal, also getting top power play time, and he has been producing as of late. Finally, he has 4 goals in his last 4 games, which is really great to see. So Caulfield might finally be showing what he's really made of and finally going to be fantasy relevant this year. Makes me really happy to see as a Habs fan. Then I have Rickard Rakell and Sonny Milano of the Anaheim Ducks. They both play on a line with Trevor Zegras as well as the top power play in Anaheim. And they're both producing right now. Sonny Milano's finally back from that injury that kept him out for a good while. And in 3 games back from injury, he's got 3 points, which is pretty good. And Rakell's got 4 points in his last 5 games. So both make pretty great adds. Next, I have Scott Laughton of the Philadelphia Flyers, only 7% rostered, yet he has 8 points in his last 7 games. The dude's super, super hot right now, playing on a line with Konechny and JVR. And if you want to add him for those Monday and Tuesday back-to-back games that Philadelphia has, it's a pretty good idea. Then you can probably drop him after that because, like I said before, the Flyers do not play again until Saturday. Next, I have Yegor Sharangovich of the New Jersey Devils, 6% rostered, and in his last 4 games, he has 7 points. Unfortunately, the Devils don't have the greatest schedule this week. They only play 2 games. But it may still be worth adding Yegor Sharangovich if he continues to play this way. He's playing on the top line with Jack Hughes and Dawson Mercer, which is a pretty good place to be, and he's getting some pretty good power play time as well. Sharangovich could be a really solid add for the rest of the season if he can keep this play up. Then I have Paul Stastny of the Winnipeg Jets, and I think he's a really great add this week because of Winnipeg's off-night schedule. Stastny will get you games on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, while also playing on the top line in Winnipeg with Stastny and Wheeler, both who are incredibly hot right now, which makes Paul Stastny a fantastic add for this week. Then I have Kyle Okposo of the Buffalo Sabres playing on the 3rd line with Middlestat, but he's really hot right now, has 3 goals in his last 4 games, and that's why I really like Okposo. Ride him while he's hot. Then I have Alex Galchenyuk of the Arizona Coyotes. He has 5 points in his last 5 games, including 4 goals, and he's playing on a line with Krause and Kessel right now. He's definitely being given an opportunity to succeed, and he seems to be taking it. So I don't mind adding Alex Galchenyuk in deeper leagues. Then I have Peyton Krebs of the Buffalo Sabres playing top power play with the guys I already mentioned, Tuck, Thompson, and Jeff Skinner, which is a pretty solid place to be, also being given second line time and seems to be getting a decent amount of ice time every single night, and he's looking pretty decent. Don't mind Peyton Krebs in deeper leagues as well. Then I have Cole Perfetti of the Winnipeg Jets, 2% rostered, and last game he was injured, so I don't know right now how severe that injury is right now, but he is playing on the second line with Kyle Connor, and he's been giving a decent amount of power play time to PP2, which is decent place to be in Winnipeg, and he's been producing every couple of games. So if you want someone for those off nights, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's a pretty good player to add, assuming that he is healthy. And last but not least for forwards, I have Alex Barabanov of the San Jose Sharks playing top line and top power play with Hertl and Timo Meier. That's a really good place to be, and last game he managed to notch a couple points, so definitely someone who's a solid add for a week that San Jose plays 4 games. Jumping into defensemen now, and I'm not going to be repeating any defensemen that I had on this list last week because I don't want to be redundant, so if you guys do want to check out some other defensemen who are really good adds, you can check out that video right up there. Now, first on this list, I have Jakob Chychrun of the Arizona Coyotes, 53% rostered, and he's been really decent lately. Seems to be turning things around, and he's been shooting the puck a lot, which is what you expect from Jakob Chychrun. He's been dishing out some blocks and a few hits here and there too, so he's able to get you that safe floor lately, and he's been managing some points here and there as well, so I don't mind adding Jakob Chychrun. Then I have Josh Morrissey of the Winnipeg Jets, 41% rostered. And lately, even though Pionk is healthy, Morrissey has been the one manning the top power play in Winnipeg, which is why he makes for a really good add right now. Then I have Noah Hanifin of the Calgary Flames, 24% rostered, and he's been pretty hot lately, so you can ride him during that hot streak. I don't think it's going to last too long, but as long as he is hot, he's definitely a viable add. Then I have Nate Schmidt of the Winnipeg Jets, 23% rostered, playing PP2 in Winnipeg, but seems to be relatively hot lately. He's been putting up an assist every couple games, which is pretty decent. He's also going to get you a few blocks here and there as well. Doesn't have the highest floor, but his ceiling is somewhat decent with those assists. And last but not least, I have Marcus Niemelainen of the Edmonton Oilers, 1% rostered, and he's someone that's going to get you a safe floor every single night with hits, because he's someone who absolutely loves to throw the body. Next is Mike Smith of the Edmonton Oilers, 55% owned, and he started off pretty rocky coming back from that injury with 2 pretty bad outings, but he's managed to string together 3 pretty good outings in a row. So it looks like Mike Smith might be back, and he's definitely a good goalie to add on a really good Oilers team. Then I have Kaapo Kähkönen of the Minnesota Wild, 52% rostered, and he's looking pretty good right now. He's playing so well that he's managed to seemingly steal the net for half the starts. Talbot was starting all the games earlier in the season, but Kähkönen played so well during Talbot's absence that it looks like Kähkönen is get about half the starts going forward. Then I have Jeremy Swayman, only 51% rostered, and going forward, guys, he's going to get 50% of the starts in Boston for about the rest of the year. And right now he's playing better than Ullmark, so he could even see even more than that if he continues to play well. Then I have Jake Ottinger of the Dallas Stars, 51% owned, and he looks like he's stolen the crease in Dallas. Been playing really well lately. Hope he's not been seeing a lot of starts. Therefore, Ottinger makes for a pretty good add. Then I have James Reimer of the San Jose Sharks, 45% rostered, and Aiden Hill still injured and doesn't look like he'll be coming back anytime soon. So Reimer is going to continue to see basically every single start in San Jose, which makes him a pretty good add. Then I have Calvin Peterson of the Los Angeles Kings, 35% owned, and he's going to continue to see about half the starts in LA. They split the starts with him and Quick 50-50. So Quick will start one, then Peterson will start one, then Quick will start one, then Peterson will start one. And that's basically how they roll it in LA. And if that's good enough for you, then Peterson is a good add. Then I have Matt Murray and Anton Forsberg. Now, Murray is injured at the moment, but he looks like he should be okay. Doesn't seem to be a super serious injury, so Murray is definitely the add for me. But if Murray's injury proves to be a little bit more serious, then Anton Forsberg is someone who's addable as the starter in Ottawa until Murray comes back. Then I have Craig Anderson and Dustin Tokarski of the Buffalo Sabres. Anderson is 13% rostered, and Tokarski is 3% rostered. But they're splitting the starts 50-50. Anderson will start one, then Tokarski will start one, then Anderson will start the next one, then Tokarski will start the one after that. That's just how they do it in Buffalo, just because Anderson is a little bit old and they don't want to overwork him. And Tokarski has been pretty decent as well. So if you want half the starts for Buffalo, who hasn't been too bad this year, those guys are viable goaltending options. Then I have Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar. And he's been traded to Montreal, guys, and Caden Primo was sent down in a corresponding move, so it looks like Hammond may be the starter in Montreal going forward. Montembeault's been okay, but if Hammond plays well in his first game in Montreal, he may very well steal the crease in Montreal, and maybe we'll get the Hamburglar Part 2, and he'll be starting to play super well every single night. I mean, I'm not super optimistic about that, but maybe he will be the starter in Montreal if he plays well enough. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.